After World War II ended, many believe the age of the tank was over. Nuclear weapons had changed the rules of war, and some thought armored divisions would soon be obsolete. But the Korean War quickly proved that tanks were still essential on the battlefield. This urgency led to the creation of the M47 Patton, a tank that was never meant to last long in American service, but went on to serve across the world for decades.
The M47 carried a 90mm M36 gun, which at the time gave it respectable firepower against Soviet T-34s and even the newer T-54s. Its cast steel armor provided up to 7 inches of protection on the front, while the overall design still carried traces of World War II thinking. The tank used the AV-1790 petrol engine and a CD-850 transmission, pushing it to a top speed of about 48 kilometers per hour or 30 miles per hour. Range was limited to just 130 kilometers. The crew consisted of 5 men: commander, gunner, loader, driver, and bow machine gunner. The M47 was the last U.S. tank to keep that 5th crew member. One advanced feature was its stereoscopic rangefinder, a binocular device that allowed accurate range estimates, though it required a lot of training. Production ran from 1951 to 1953, with more than 8,500 units built. But the M47 had reliability problems, overheating, mechanical breakdowns, and short range. The U.S. Army used it for only a few years, between 1952 and 1955. The Marine Corps and National Guard kept it a bit longer, but by the early 1960s, it was replaced by the M48 Patton. Where the M47 really made its mark was abroad. It became a backbone of NATO defense in Europe, used by West Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Austria, and Turkey. Austria even assigned the tank to a young conscript named Arnold Schwarzenegger, who later shipped his personal M47 to the United States. In Italy, the Carabinieri police received M47s, though they were quickly pulled back due to fears of a coup. The tank also appeared in the Middle East. Jordan used them in the Six-Day War of 1967. Turkey employed them during the 1974 Cyprus conflict. And in South Asia, Pakistan fielded the M47 in both the 1965 and 1971 wars against India. In the Battle of Asal Uttar, Indian centurions destroyed so many Pattons that the battlefield became known as Patton Nagar, the graveyard of Pattons. Still, for years, the M47 formed the backbone of Pakistan's armored forces. Even Iran modified its M47s into a modernized version called the Subalan, which remains in service today.
For the U.S. Army, the M47 Patton was a short-lived design, a stopgap that bridged the gap between World War II tanks and the more advanced Cold War models. But worldwide, it became one of the most widespread tanks of the 20th century, serving in dozens of armies and fighting in several wars. Today, you'll find M47s in museums, military parades, and even still rolling with some armies. The M47 was never the perfect tank, but it proved something important. Even in the nuclear age, armored steel still mattered.
So what do you think? Was the M47 Patton a forgotten stopgap or one of the Cold War's most influential tanks?